Good morning. Thank you for joining me on this cold and dreary day in Northeast Florida. But considering the weather in the northern part of the country, I'm not complaining. I thought today I would share this with you because I was in my studio doing one of my pass-throughs and wishing, and I noted this box, rather deep, filled to the brim with pieces that I had done in 2019 before the onslaught to my body. So I thought I would share them with you because I have been seriously thinking about the possibility of sharing them on Etsy. Do let me know if you would consider that idea a good one. You know that I read all of your comments, so I will be learning your ideas on that subject. I had another box like that, filled about halfway up, and I used that to send Happy Mail to the people, all of the people on the list for my private Facebook group. And I do have, if you'll notice down at the bottom of this video, my private Facebook group is listed. It's called Junk and Art Journaling from the Heart. So let's begin our trip down memory lane. These are, I call them my four girls. As you'll notice as I go on, these are rather heavy weight paper, and each one of them has a picture of a girl that I just absolutely love, and a very, very, on this one, a wild rose collage featuring the girl and some layers under her, some music, and some green painter's drip paper. The inside is ready for journaling, so they're basically journal card folders. And on the back, another wild rose and some pretty bits collaged on. So we have her, and then we have her, and I just think she is my fave. She is just so pretty. Two different pieces of lace that I colored myself using lapse of memory, using my distress ink, and layers upon layers here under her. But the lace seems to work very well with the colors on the collage papers. Here is the inside of these, ready for writing. And on the back, some more collage bits added. This I found in my stash. I had obviously used this to cut on my die cutting machine, and I had kept it, thank heavens, and here it is here. So we have girl number 2, girl number 3 uses some of Rachel at Roxy Creations, some of her straw paper, some more of the green painter's paper, a girl with a yellow motif behind her, another piece of the yellow dyed crocheted lace, and the inside of this one, and the back featuring 2 of my T cards in yellow. So there's girl number 3 and girl number 4. Could be sisters or mama and daughter, but another piece of heavy uncolored, or it could be, yes, I think it might be tea-dyed crocheted lace, and some bits of music paper, and some cutout bits from books, the inside for writing, and the back using another one of those cards that I had kept that has the embossed piece removed, and a piece of Roxy Creations, Rachel's handwritten paper. So here we have four girls. And let's take this one up. This one is heavily collaged. It is 2 cards put together using fabric to turn them into a flip. There is some stenciling on here. In fact, there's quite a bit of stenciling on this one. I loved these blue pieces of ivy twigs. I just couldn't resist using them here. And here we open to the inside. And this on this side, I'm using, this is my paint cleanup paper from, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Some music. The other side of the fabric from the cover to turn this into a flip. Another piece of that ivy from the front. Some of Rachel's straw paper. Some stenciling. And here we have the back with some tea-dyed lace. Another piece of my painty paper, as I call it. So this one, is turned into a flip. It could be either this way or this way. I love that blue ivy. Alrighty, here we have, what do we have? Let's just see what we have here. Okay. A piece of my much used, I'm running low on this lace, but I do love it. 2 more pieces of the lace that I hand dyed, and a very busy, I don't remember what pad this came from, but it's heavier weight, so it must be from a pad. And let's go this way. Fold out here, lace, and a rose with black, dark green, almost black leaves, and a tag from Foxy Creations. Opening up to the inside, birdies, a piece of ribbon with writing on it, and the back is neutral enough that it could be used as a writing spot. So here we have a many-sided card. That was fun doing. And I love that large rose bud. Let's pull out this one now. What is this one? Well, we know it's got a lovely tag and some cheesecloth. A heavy piece of yellow-green paper from my fabric stash. This from one of my larger books. And this is one of my own digis featuring this lace. And I don't believe there's anything. Nope. Just a card for inclusion in a journal. An entire piece of lace, cheesecloth, and papers from that's not anything I did. That's paper from a rather large pad. So here we have, and this took a lot of doing on my part to put this piece here, because you can see the dimensionality of it. It was almost a silky piece of quilt. I don't have any idea where it came from, but boy, does it work on that paper. Oh, let's get these 2 out. These are 2 little goodies. Collage bits for a space for writing. And they are just, I consider them just clusters on steroids. I think it's supposed to be this way. Yes, it is. The red birdie and some 2 lace and fabric, more cheesecloth, flowers, and so a pair of cards for a journal. Let's go to this one. This is a little booklet and some stitching on it, and it opens up, and it opens up again, and it opens up again. Oh, isn't this fun? Isn't this just wonderful when you haven't seen something for over a year and you realize, I made that. Yes, I did, and had fun doing it. And as you can see, this features green and purples, and the front has a tuck for writing, and there is a writing tuck for the back, and this is stenciled. But the front is doesn't show you what to expect on the inside. And here we have these 2 sides with some of my very favorite collage writing, more birdies, and admit one, and a piece of collage from a book, a stamp. Yes, that is one of my stamps. Another piece of purple and green. This is a piece of my original painting from, eons ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, that I was happy that I had that, because it certainly does bring out the coloring in this puppy. This is also a piece of my mixed media from way back when I just was learning the mixed media world. So this is a very old one, probably from 2016. Birdie again, a piece of Rachel's straw paper, stamps, and the back, another piece of my original painting, stenciling and painting from the same era as this one. In fact, it might be from almost the same piece of paper, because I worked very big in those days. I mean, when I say big, I mean big papers. So in it goes. What have we got here? Oh, I know what these are. These are writing spots, but they are, the background paper here is watercolor paper that has some of my original watercolor background on it, from eons ago, and it's been doodled, and I used collage bits from magazines and doodled on them. So we have this one and this one. This was a piece of background for some project that I did in watercolor, but it is again watercolor paper, original to Carol, except now I've added these pieces of magazine bits from to add to this paper, and doodling on the flowers. So these 2, I believe, are almost a pair. I would say they were a pair. That was fun doing. Let's go to another one. What one will we have next? How about this one? This is a large envelope. I added a stamp, some fabric with writing on it, some lace, some music, and this is cut so that the coloring on this flower shows through because I've glued it onto the back of the cutout area on an original stencil that I made eons ago. This is a piece of fabric, and this again is the leaf that goes with this flower, and it has some leaf printing fabric to lend color to show through the hole. And this under here, I almost missed this piece. I found these ages ago, and I used them very sparingly because I love them to death. And I stamped on the linen on this piece of trim. I lined the envelope. I used one of my very favorite Joe Sonia golden paints to do the back of it, and I collaged the back flap featuring purple, and this piece is raised because it's plastic. I think with the holes would tell me that at some point this was supposed to be a button. Well, not on my planet. So there it is, showing itself right there, with this, again, another piece of my favorite, which I'm fast running out of, but it's been quite a while that since I've used that, and such a large piece, because I would usually cut this up to keep it alive, so to speak. And here we have stenciling and stamping. So we have a large envelope. What's next? Let's go here. All right, this one played out on, I must have been doing this as an experiment, played out on the theme here, in which I cut a original stencil of mine, and here it is cut again. And from the feel of this, I could say that I've hand acrylic and used, if I'm not wrong, I think, well, I'm not going to say until I think about whose paper that is. Piece of lace that is tea dyed, a piece of dyed cheesecloth, and the back of the envelope, again, cheesecloth behind flowers, and here is my closure. I'm not going to open it because I just love the way that is closed. And how did I do it? I did it very, very, very simply. That's two pieces, of course, as you can see, seam binding, and all I did was cut a piece with my X-Acto knife. I cut a piece here of this back flap, and I cut a piece the same size, same place, but down, so that I could just run these ribbons through and down in here and out here, and look at the lovely closure that has produced on this envelope. Very simple, just two cuts with an X-Acto knife, and Bob's your uncle. So this one goes in the bag now. What next? Oh, this one, yes. This is from a piece that I did ages ago. So this is an original of Carol with my doodling. And I was experimenting with my new sewing machine here, so that you can see that I got a nice edging around here. Now here we have two tags added, and and pockets on the inside. More collaging, and it's closed with these velcro dots, which work quite nicely, and they do hardly show. And this is, of course, enclosed with a copper-colored paper clip, two tags which have writing spots on the back. Let's see what is on the back. Ah, more of the same, and this time it shows more of the stamping that I did. I love this stamp because it is the script is lovely, and it's small. Another one of the pieces from one of my pieces from ages ago that I added doodling to. So here you see the value of these pieces of tiny velcro dots. Modern but workable. And what have we here? Oh, we have an envelope with stenciling. Yes, we do. An envelope with stenciling. And what's inside? It's like Wonderland. And two pieces of collage from this one from a magazine, I think maybe a fall magazine, and a pretty birdie. And what have we here? We have, what do we have? Ah, we have an envelope with a flip. Oh, my, look at this. So we have some birdies behind the clear plastic on this envelope. More yellow birdies with a little bit of yellow embellishment to go with. I think I remember now that I was gifted this gray colored envelope and didn't know what I was going to do with it, but oh boy, did I find out, didn't I? Here, another page with an enclosure, a writing spot featuring yellow. It must have been in my yellow face again, and another envelope featuring a birdie, and I did let that gray show, and I am so happy that I did. Now let us see what might be hiding in here. Ah, nothing. It is just the pretty from the front. And when this opens, we have another yellow flower, a tuck with a writing spot, and this goes in this envelope. So here, and I do love the, I have to think about where, oh yes, I know, that's a Tim Holtz a small stencil. And I obviously put this on with my vintage photo and one of my brushes, because only a brush would make it this pale and a variety, having a variety from darker to pale. Let's go right here. And what have we? Well, we have something that I thought that I needed to use paper clips on. So let's just take them off and see what happens. Oh yes, here was my first experiment with magnets. The magnets are hidden under this. I remember now. Yes, I do. And envelopes, obviously. An envelope with a cluster. And bits and bobs here. And some stitchery. Ah, they separate. Good. And I lined the inside of the envelope, and I used some of my very much loved writing stamp and some Joe Sonia gold from my favorite small stencil. So let's open and see what we have in here. Ah, more. Oh, I do love this. I didn't know that I had any of that left because I just used up the last of it. Yes, I did. And this is covering the this is covering the magnet, but it looks as though it belongs there. Pinkish dyed music paper. And this I had for years and thought, well, now how am I ever going to use it, until I thought about this, and I experimented with the magnets in here, and I decided she would go right there with a piece of cheesecloth behind the base of this bronze. And I put this on because this is what I envisioned her as holding up. That's one of my small stencils. And more on the back to bring out the fact that I have it on the inside. A couple of my stamps and some golden stenciling. So now we know why the two, oh my, a little booklet with some stitching, because I obviously sewed down this this cluster. And we turned this into a little notebook. I think I remember. This is Medieval Mirage papers. Jarf is the lady's name who owns the Medieval Mirage. Her papers are absolutely wondrous, as you can see. A lot of this is also Medieval Mirage. And I believe the one that I thought of before that I did not remember was also Medieval Mirage. Let's put this on. I'm having a little bit of trouble with the tips of my fingers. That's why I haven't been doing too much stitching, because I have a little numbness from the chemo. I'm hoping, against hope, that it decides to go away soonest. But if not, I shall have to make some life changes. So here we have this one, and I'm going to drink a little bit of Ovaltine. For my 11 o'clock pick-me-up. And let's see what we have here. Let's look at this pink one. It's been winking at me. And here we have an envelope with stenciling, grid paper with stenciling. And this is used Tattered Angel's Glimmer Mist to make that paper. Boy, I was really practicing with my new sewing machine at this time in my art career. A cluster. And the front of the envelope is a real stamp. Stamped postage. My happy handwriting paper for collage. Some pink, Pepto-Bismol pink cheesecloth. A piece of fabric. And a piece of tea-dyed lace, roses. And I left those there because they didn't upset me too much to look at them, and they certainly did hold this this large piece together. What have we here? This is like this is almost Christmas all over again. Alrighty, a piece of card with stitchery, lots of collaging, and I was finally able to use these big butterflies and pieces of and flower collage up against this. Looks like pictures of Italy, and the same inside. Just love to go big sometimes, and boy, this certainly did it for me. So this is a folder, and wouldn't it work nicely if We made it into a booklet or a little journal and use this as the cover, because it certainly would work. It would hold a nice size journal. Getting down to the bottom, finally. Another piece of, two pieces actually, held together with fabric, sewing. These are some very favorite stamps of mine. And I use the caramel, my caramel ink to stamp that. On the back we have some pink backgrounds, pink paper, thin weight, a flower, and some wrapping paper, a birdie, and some more pink, Pepto pink, so it is held together on the inside, and it is sewn down so it's strong. This also could be turned into a notebook or even a journal. Now this feels like it's many sides. Let's just see how many. Okay. Greens. A green. Two envelopes together. Okay. Love working on envelopes. Fabric. Coffee dyed cheesecloth. A green stamp. And what's on the back? Featuring yellow. Cheesecloth. Yellow birdie. Piece of the hand-dyed yellow lace. And let's see what we have in here now. Alrighty, here we have some collage. Yes, I remember this is a bit of an outdoor scene that I just loved. Here's a piece of paper folded into fit in here for writing. Some of my favorite stamp done with the caramel stamp again. Stenciling again. Stamping and stenciling, it just makes me happy. And here's another piece of the paper, stamped and stenciled. And stenciled on both sides. So, what we can do with two envelopes and what we can turn them into. Here we have something tied up. Something tied up. Let's see what we have. Oh, okay. Two pieces of cord through two tiny holes. Nothing here on the back, just cord through holes, wrapped around this folder. Heavy. This is more contemporary lace. I believe it's from Hobby Lobby. And some of this color that I just love, a mixture of flowers. A place for stamping and hiding things. A writing spot if possible. More collaging. My letter dated 1868. Wasn't the handwriting beautiful? more, and here's the two holes with the string inside. Another piece that is available to fold and hide treasures, and a a green pumpkin from obviously from some fall magazine, and eco-dyed papers on 3 sides, and then you just hold this here, pull this one around, go back around here, and another simple way to close up a piece. The 2 cuts with the X-Acto knife and 2 little tiny holes definitely get the job done. Oh, my fingertips seem to be working very well today. Lucky Carol. And this container is getting full. I think I'll do this one next. This was the last piece for 2019 into 2020. This is a folder containing 8 handmade tags using heavyweight from Michaels, using their heavyweight natural colored, yes, use heavyweight natural colored paper, and I do believe, yes, I sewed it through and the machine did it, so I can't complain about my machine, can I? And I'm not going to take out all of these because time is moving along. I'm going to have a little bit more Ovaltine. For those of you who remember Ovaltine, you'll realize how old I am. Take out a tag from here. And each tag has a writing spot on the back and a bow with silk fabric, sari fabric from my stash. More of those from the very beginning of our talk here, of our visit, wild roses. Now you came out here so that you know that you go back. There you go. And I wanted the tops to hang out as much as possible. There we go. So we have 8 tags. This one was a fave. I usually don't use colors like that, especially a shade of purple like that, but I just love it there. Some yellow. You've seen that before. And this. And I think I'll just stand this one up a little higher here so that it shows on the outside. Alrighty. And the last 2 in the back. Oh, and this one I decided to make a double tag. So I used a piece of fabric to sew them together. And a place for writing on the back. There we go. Did it. This one goes in here. Now this is rather heavy, so there must be more to this than meets the eye. Another pretty girl on the front. some pretty paper that I do not remember at all where this comes from, so I cannot share that. A piece of my new fave lace. Some graph paper. What have we in here? Oh yes. A place that you can turn this also into a... Oh, I made one. Just about to say that you could turn it into this. And you could certainly turn it and use it as a journal cover. And that's why the big brass-colored heart clip to hold it in. And a pocket, stenciling, a pocket with additions, and a tag with a writing spot on back. Let's let this one hang out a little bit more. So this would certainly work as a journal cover. And last, but certainly not least, this time I used grommets, and it's tied, so it's a small journal. It has some 3-hole closure. Now let's see if we can get this one to work easily. Oh yes. Oh yes again. So we have a piece of paper with stenciling, doodling. I'm trying to see what else I did here. Stamping, some collage, similar on the back, and I ripped all of the edges on this one because I didn't want a plain one. And I certainly didn't get a plain one, did I? Let's see what we have here. Oh, I know what we have here. We have handmade paper from my stash. Yes, we have a mixture of handmade paper. You see the gold in there? Favorite stamp. This is not handmade paper. This is handmade paper. I'm going to do more of this. I like the way that looks. I like the way it feels. Yes, the center of the signature with handmade paper, 2 pieces glued together with the string in between. Would you believe? Let me show it to you. See the transparency? Yes, I had to have that little piece of handmade paper. And so on. So we have a small journal featuring some handmade paper. Well, I do hope that you have enjoyed my little trip down memory lane today. I'm hoping that I will be able to get back to this sort of thing soonest. But this box is certainly open to sharing. And let's see what we're doing here. Yes, we're doing it correctly, Carol. Good girl. Okay, so we'll take out the last few. I hope that you have enjoyed your visit. I have certainly enjoyed my little show and tell here. And if you have, I would appreciate your giving me a thumbs up, leaving a comment. I do answer them. Share with a friend, and I would appreciate your subscribing to my channel. Bye now. See you soon.